Tom Brenneman back with Steve Stone at Wrigley Field in Chicago. A partly sunny day and a good crowd of probably right around 30,000 or so on tap. A 5-2 Pirate lead. It'll be the top of the order to face Mike Harkey, Carlos Garcia, Jay Bell, then Orlando Merced. No sooner had Charlie Relaford said play ball, Garcia whacked the first pitch of the game onto Waveland Avenue for a solo home run. He walked, was thrown out stealing in the third. And we open the fifth with a count of 1-1.
Jim Leyland thinks that Carlos Garcia is by far his #1 prospect. And they think the world of this young man, and they think that his potential is unlimited. He is going to be a very good player. Now, he's had to make an adjustment. This is a lifetime shortstop who moved over to second base because Jay Bell is the shortstop of the Pirates. And it's not an easy conversion, but Garcia's made it pretty well.
Lifts this one to deep left field, and he has hit his second home run of the game, and both onto Waveland Avenue. Carlos Garcia. Well, they said when he came up, this guy has some pop in his bat. That's his 8th home run this season.
Garcia now has 27 driven in. 2 for 2 today. A couple of long balls off Mike Harkey. And this is a slider that catches the whole plate. And Garcia takes it way back. So the Pirates, who hadn't homered in 7 games coming into this one, have hit 3 against Mike Harkey, and the bullpen starts to work.
Well, Harkey has been battered in his last 3 starts now. His last 2 outings covered a total of 8 innings, allowed 18 hits and 12 earned runs.
Chuck McElroy getting loose in the bullpen. Garcia is not your prototypical leadoff hitter, and he will eventually hit down in the order. But they don't have a leadoff hitter on the Pittsburgh Pirates, and Garcia doing a pretty good job in the meantime. But this is a man that's going to drive in a lot of runs, and he will eventually be a 3rd or 5th hitter, I do believe.
Bell dumps it into right field, a base hit. So Bell continuing his hitting streak. It now goes to 9 straight games.
Rick Wilkins out to the mound to certainly kill some time for the bullpen. Jim Lefevre gave the sign that he wants Chuck McElroy to get loosened up in a hurry. He gave the hurry up sign to Tony Muser to tell McElroy to step on it. Rick Wilkins will kill as much time as he can until Charlie Relaford calls him back. And Mac doing everything he can to get loosened up, as Billy Connors, I'm sure, wondering just what he'll do to make some adjustments for Mike Harkey.
Bell at first base. Here's Orlando Merced, who has struck out and grounded to Sandberg. Well, without Andy Van Slyke here recently, and well, with Merced being bothered of late by a groin injury, the Pirates have been running. Stoney mentioned earlier 28 of 39 in the stolen base department during the month of July, and they've doubled that amount in terms of hitting and running.
And Jay Bell, who you wouldn't normally think is the best base runner around, has stolen 12 bases, been caught only 4 times. Last year he stole 7 all year.
1 ball 1 strike to Orlando Merced. A 6-2 Pirate lead in the 5th. Bell at first, nobody out. Garcia started the inning with his 2nd home run of the game. And that ball smoked into center. Bell going to make the turn and then slow down.
And I would think if Chuck McElroy is ready, Jim Lefevre had best go out and get Mike Harkey.
And here he comes. So Harkey has given up 7 hits in 4+ innings. And he'll be taken down more than likely for Chuck McElroy. Lefevre has not given the signal quite yet as he's getting to the top of the mound. He'll probably wait until Relaford breaks up the meeting to give McElroy a few more pitches down in the bullpen. Well, now Jim Lefebvre telling Rutherford he wants a left-hander Chuck McElroy. We'll talk about him when we return. 1 run in, 2 men on, nobody out in the 5th, and a 6-2 Pirate lead.
Can this father
She loves him, she marries him.
give away this bride and still keep his sanity? Will this man
A wonderful young man, wonderful.
marry this woman
At least my mother's not thinking of coming with us on our honeymoon.
and live to tell about
It's
it?
a wedding. It's not the land of the living dead.
For the first time on television,
This is a family of lunatics.
Alan Alda, Joe Pesci, Ali Sheedy, Molly Ringwald. You're invited to Betsy's Wedding. Wednesday night at 7 on Channel 9.
Flooding in the Midwest has affected millions and left thousands homeless. Now you can help the victims of this horrible disaster by donating to the Neighbors in Need Fund. 100% of all donations will go to Midwest flood relief. The Robert R. McCormick Tribune Foundation will match all contributions up to $500,000 from its general funds. Please make checks payable to Neighbors in Need Fund and send them to P.O. Box 5120, Chicago, Illinois 60680. It's your chance to help today.
Mike Harkey taken down in favor of left-hander Chuck McElroy, just recently brought back from AAA Iowa.
McElroy at 2-2, the ERA 4.65, on for the 29th time. 31 innings, 30 hits. He's given up 4 home runs, walked 16, fanned 23. His last appearance, pitched 2/3 of an inning and was perfect. That was in the 13th inning against the Dodgers. You remember that game. His career against the Pirates, most impressive, 2-0 with an ERA of 1.35.
Opponents hitting .256 against McElroy. So Mike Harkey, 4+ innings, 7 hits. And the runner Jay Bell at second, along with the runner at first, Orlando Merced, his responsibility, of course. Pirates a 6-2 lead, and here's Jeff King. He has bounced us short, doubled, and scored. And there's ball 1. McElroy, you may remember, sent down when the team was in Colorado during the 4th of July weekend. Very emotional, extremely upset about seeing sent back to AAA, and clearly carried those emotions with him while down at the minor league level, as it's a ball and a strike, because he did not pitch well there at all. In 9 AAA games, 0-1, a couple of saves, and a .460 earned run average. But now he's back and trying to reestablish his stuff at the major league level. 1-1 to Jeff King, and it's a base hit down the right field line. They're going to wave around Bell. He'll easily score. On to third is Merced. It is 7-2 Pittsburgh. 4 hits to open the 5th inning.
RBI number 62 for Jeff King. And we'll take another look as King reaches out, gets the fastball, and the fastball is up around letter high, and letter high fastballs turn into line drives. Still runners at the corner, still nobody out. And Mike Harkey absolutely beside himself with frustration. He doesn't know what to do to work himself out of the current difficulties he's experiencing. The last 3 times out, he has really struggled. It's not that he's been walking a lot of guys, but we talk about being wild in the strike zone, meaning you just get too much of the plate with your fastball. And he is a frustrated young man. He's given up 7 runs so far charged to him, 6 of them earned.
Lloyd McClendon going to pinch bat for Dave Clark. McClendon, a right-handed hitter, and looks at ball 1 down low. Former Cub. And boy, did he play a large part in the Cubs winning the 1989 National League's Eastern Division Championship. Two and 0. Clark went 1 out of 2. He singled and scored in the 4th inning, but his day is through. McClendon has not done a good job this season, but it's 2 and 1. Merced at third, Jeff King at first, nobody out, and a 2-1 to McClendon has popped up. This will be playable. Mark Grace in fair ground, and no one will move. First down of the inning.
Chuck McElroy had a magnificent year in 1991, appearing in 71 games, a 6-2 record, a 1.95 ERA, and he was well on his way to being one of the dominant left-hand pitchers in the league. Same held true the first half of 92. But then something happened with Chuck, and he wound up 4-7, 3.55 ERA in 92, but a bad second half. Tommy, he carried that bad second half into this year when he really struggled in the major leagues. He was sent down maybe as much as a wake-up call as anything else for him, and now coming back trying to reestablish himself.
Al Martin, the hitter, and bounces one through the hole into right field. Another hit and another run coming in as Merced. Martin knocking in his second of the game, 25th of the season, and boy, the route is on. 7-2 Pirates.
That one through the right side. Chuck McElroy throwing his fastball around 85, 86 miles an hour. And that's well down from what his fastball was before he was sent to the minor leagues. So 8 runs charged to Mike Harkey. 7 earned. 4+ innings, 7 hits, 2 walks, and a strikeout.
So an 8-2 Pirate lead. 2 on and only 1 out, and Slaughter single into center. They're going to hold the runner at third. Sosa bobbles the ball, but it doesn't matter. King had already stopped at third base. Man, oh man, 7 batters here in the 5th inning. 6 of them have hits, and a groove fastball right down the chute.
Well, the Pirates, who have not been scoring of late, certainly brought their bats with them to Wrigley Field as they continue to pound away at Cub pitching.
Bases loaded for Bullitt. High fly ball into shallow left. Derek May calling off Vizcaíno, makes a play. They bluff the tag. 2 away in the inning. So Mike Harkey, over his last 3 starts, went a total of 12 innings, allowed 25 hits and 19 earned runs.
Now, Jim Lefevre does have a decision to make, Tommy. How long will you go with Mike Harkey when you've got both Sean Bosky and Jose Bautista throwing extraordinarily well out of the bullpen? Both right-handers, both of them former starters. And you have a choice. Do you allow Mike Harkey to work out his difficulties any longer, or do you sit him down for a while and bring one of the real hot pitchers into the rotation? And of course, that will be discussed, I'm sure, during the week, along with Billy Connors and perhaps Larry Himes involved in that discussion. But that's always a tough decision to make.
Bases loaded, 2 out, 1-1 to Wagner, and he swings and misses. The only problem that you wonder about, Scanlon is the kind of guy where you might be able to pitch him 2 or 3 days in a row, but then he's going to need 2 or 3 days off. And Harkey has never pitched out of the bullpen. We'll continue this conversation when we come back. But the Pirates strike for 3 more runs on 6 hits, leaving them loaded. Middle of the 5th, all Bucks.
A participating advertiser in Cubs baseball is AT&T. Far and away, the best in the business.
There are a lot of reasons people walk into my True Value store. Sometimes it's convenience. We're right in the neighborhood. Sometimes they want advice, and sometimes they're bargain hunting, looking for true values.
Like Bondex Liquid Cement Crack Filler. It's ready mixed, easy to use, and just $4.99 a quart. And Alex Plus Acrylic Latex Caulk from DAP. It's flexible, waterproof, and the 10.3-ounce cartridge is just $1.49.
You know, the name says it all. True Value.
What would you do if you won $4 million in Lotto?
I wouldn't have any more trouble if I had $4 million.
I'd buy a house, I'd buy a yacht. I'd just buy all the things I've been dreaming about for a long time.
Anything my wife wanted.
What if you won $6 million?
Well, I'd have 6 kids and be very happy.
Color me gone, I'd travel around the world.
To be able to have all the things that I've always wanted.
In your dreams, whatever they be.
I'd go to Europe and buy a restaurant.
Dream a little dream with me.
The in-your-face fadeaway. Arc times velocity equals a 3-point shot. Translation, Electric Avenue beats the shorts off of Best Buy.
Scotty, just look at the Electric Avenue All-Star lineup. Sony, Panasonic, RCA, Apple, Maytag, GE. Plus, Electric Avenue will match any store's advertised price, guaranteed.
Teeny little guys, weren't they?
Are you ready?
Wavelength. It's like a talk show, but cooler.
Today at 4:30.
Well, we're headed for the bottom half of the 5th inning. The Pirates holding a 6-run lead, chasing Mike Harkey. And incidentally, Harkey in 4+ innings, allowing 7 hits, 8 runs. 6 of those runs were earned. But that young one could care less. She's hanging out with Daddy today. Her biggest concern is whether Dad's going to get her to the bathroom on time and whether or not on that visit they stop and get some cotton candy along the way.
Ernie Question's question today comes from Bryant Williams, who's 14 years old, out of Rock Hill, South Carolina. He wants to know why in some ballparks behind home plate they have a sign, "No pepper games allowed." And you'd be surprised, Tommy, how many of these inquiries we had about that "no pepper games allowed." He wants to know what it is. And pepper is when guys stand up, one of them has a bat, they throw him the ball, and they hit little ground balls to him. And the reason they don't want guys to play pepper in back of home plate is twofold. Number one, you can hit the ball in the stands and hurt someone. And number two, from an aesthetic point of view, you kill the grass. Probably the number one reason is the one they're most concerned about, is liability at the ballpark. And so that's what no pepper game means. And we would like to thank Brian Williams, 14 years old, from Rock Hill, South Carolina.
Sandberg to open up things here in the bottom of the 5th. He's 0 for 2. Fouled it off the glove of Don Slutt. Sandberg is bounced to second base and fly to center. Let's pause for station identification on the Cubs television network.
You're watching WGN-TV Channel 9 Chicago, America's #1 sports station.
Along with Steve Stone, I'm Tom Brenneman at Wrigley Field in Chicago. It's an 8-2 Pittsburgh lead. Sandberg beginning the bottom of the 5th against Paul Wagner, who's allowed 2 runs, 1 earned, has surrendered 4 hits, fanned 4, and walked a pair. The rookie right-hander, 25 years old, born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, grew up in Germantown. Fly ball into center, and again lots of room for Bullitt into right center, 1 out. And Lloyd McClendon, by the way, has stayed in the game to take over in right for Dave Clark.
Wagner starting his 10th game, and he has yet to complete one, so odds are that he'll need a little help out of the bullpen. And Stan Belinda, the #1 closer for the Pirates, is departed. He is now in Kansas City via a trade, and Jim Leyland will have to use certainly a bullpen by committee these days. In fact, Tommy, his leading save man with the departed Belinda is Blas Minor and the starter Paul Wagner. They both have just 2 saves. It's going to get a little tough late in the game for the Pirates.
1-1 to Mark Grace. Well, Belinda was due up for arbitration this season. He was going to save anywhere from 20 to 25 games, have a very low ERA, and many believed that his arbitration could bring him in excess of $2 million per year, and the Pirates aren't ready to handle that. There's a broken bat floater up through the middle. Bell is there, throws off balance, but not nearly in time. The head of the bat flew all the way back to the bricks, just in front of the screen behind the home plate area.
Not one of the hardest hit balls that Mark Grace has ever hit as he cracks the bat, but he does manage a base hit. Good effort by Jay Bell, but he can't get it there near in time. And Mark Grace now 1 for 2. Still a long way to go in this one, but the Cubs have had all kinds of problems trying to get 4 games over 500 this year. Highest major league ERA. The Pirates as a staff well up there.
You know, the amazing thing about ERAs, particularly over in the American League, he looks at his strike. There is only one team in the entire American League with an ERA under 4. Boston, a team earned run average of 343. The White Sox are second, allowing better than 4 runs per game. That ball hammered foul. It's 0-2 to Derek May. In the National League with expansion, a lot of new faces, young pitchers. It's about split right down the middle. Half the teams under 4, the rest over 4, the other one better than 5. The only one is Colorado.
So does the designated hitter make a big difference?
Ooh.
Apparently so.
Into shallow center. Bullet a late break, and he's not going to get there. So the Cubs get a broken bat infield single by Grace. A short pop fly to center that drops for a hit by May. 2 are on with only 1 out.
Scott Bullitt got a very bad jump on that ball, and that one just floated into center field. Usually when you see anything go to center, Andy Van Slyke comes flying into your picture and makes a catch, but Andy Van Slyke is still a couple weeks away from being active, and Scott Bullitt couldn't get to that one. You know, Tommy, you look back at the Pirates and you remember the outfield of Barry Bonds, Bobby Bonilla, and Andy Van Slyke being one of the great outfields assembled in the National League. And look at what's happened in a small market, not being able to afford the huge salaries without drawing a whole lot of attendance. And you can see in many instances where baseball might be headed unless something happens with this next negotiation.
Well, I mean, just imagine living in Pittsburgh. It hasn't reached that stage here in Chicago, either team yet. Huge city. 6 million fans basically to draw from just in this area alone. Forget the fact that many come from Indiana, Iowa, all over the Midwest. As Buechele singles into left field, they're going to hold Grace at third. It looked like he nearly tripped over Jeff King at third base. And I think they're looking for some kind of interference. Chuck Cottier having a conversation with Paul Runge, and Grace involved in it as well.
Jim Lefevre coming out, but Paul Runge is going to say that the fielder is allowed to make a play, and it's the base runner who has to avoid the fielder. I don't think he's going to reverse his decision here. There's nothing really that Jeff King can do. He dove for the ball, and Mark Grace had to dive over him. Consequently, Grace couldn't score. So although Jim Lefevre came out to argue with Paul Runge, remember, the fielder has every opportunity to make the play. Now, had King jumped up or tried to trip Mark Grace or moved to get in his way, now that's another question. But he was lying flat, actually flattened out a little bit more as Grace went over him, and so the Cubs don't get the run.
So they're loaded up for Rick Wilkins, who has struck out twice. Cubs are down 8-2, but trying to change out with the bases loaded and only 1 out. And it gets away from Slot, but all the runners stay put.
Well, bear in mind that this Pittsburgh team, unlike Pittsburgh teams in the past, doesn't have much pitching. And although things don't look particularly good now at 8-2, this is the kind of pitching staff that you can come back against. So Schaus and Minor throwing in the bullpen.
And on the other side, right-hander Bobby Scanlon beginning to get loose for Jim Lefevre.
The Cubs have hit, and they've hit quite a bit since the All-Star break, so this one's still not near out of reach yet.
1-0 to Wilkins with the bases loaded, and it missed inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Wilkins just 1 home run shy of team leader Sammy Sosa. Wilkins has played long ball 20 times this year, and now Ray Miller, the Pittsburgh pitching coach, will come out of the dugout for a visit.
Well, he's giving his bullpen a chance to get loose, a lot like Billy Connors did on the Cubs side. And Wilkins in pretty good shape here. He knows that Ray Miller coming out is going to convince Wagner to get something in the strike zone. He's behind 2-0. Wilkins a dead fastball hitter. And I like his chances here if Wagner gets the ball in the strike zone. Wilkie's going to have a pretty good cut. Could do some damage in this situation.
Pirates took a 2-0 lead in the first inning and a half on solo home runs by Carlos Garcia on the first pitch of the game, and then Al Martin a solo shot in the second. Cubs a run in the second inning, RBI double by Roberson, an unearned run in the third to tie it at 2, but then the Pirates 3 in the fourth, 3 more in the fifth. Chasing Mike Harkey to open an 8-2 lead, but here in the bottom of the fifth, Grace, May, and Buechele consecutive singles after Sandberg was retired to begin the inning. And a 2-0 pitch coming up for Rick Wilkins. Let's see if he gets something to drive right now. He did, but popped it up. And Bell makes the play. A good pitch there by Paul Wagner. He got well in on the hands of Rick Wilkins.
Most pitchers cannot get inside on Wilkins. He's got that fast a swing. But that time Wagner got the fastball right in on the hand, shattered the bat of Wilkins, and had him hit a floater to Jay Bell. Good fastball right around 93 miles an hour. Wilkins could not get his hands out, and he got tied up by that pitch.
So here's Sammy, who has singled, stole a base, scored a run, and struck out. 1 for 2. Bases loaded. Now 2 men out. Cubs a 6-run deficit to the Pirates here in the bottom of the fifth. And Wagner missed with a ball. Sosa has tied Mark Grace for the team lead in runs batted in, while Grace has only knocked in 2 runs since the All-Star break. Sosa's delivered 34 RBIs in his last 41 games. 2-0.
Derek May has been the man that's been magnificent since the break with 15 runs batted in. And now Sammy in the same situation that Rick Wilkins was in. He's well ahead of Wagner, looking for something in the zone to drive.
Grace, May, Buechele the runners. 2 men out, bottom of the fifth. A 2-0 pitch coming to Sosa from Paul Wagner. And the crowd getting into it now. 3-0 to count.
Well, now you wonder if Jim Lefevre is going to give Sammy the 3-0 green light.
We'll find out. 3-0 delivery. And he takes ball 4. Wagner has walked in a run. And that makes it 8-3 Pittsburgh. So Sosa now the team leader in runs batted in.
This one up and out of the strike zone. And I think that Jim Leyland will probably give Paul Wagner one more hitter. He does not qualify for the win. He will give an opportunity to retire Kevin Roberson, who has been hot today.
RBI double by Roberson in the second, a single to right in the fourth. Bases loaded, 2 men out. Cubs now down by 5. And Wagner not even close with that pitch. And both hurlers in the pen are ready. May at third, Buechele at second base, Sosa on at first with Orlando Merced, as you clearly saw, playing behind him. 2 men out in the inning. And the 1-0. 2 balls, no strikes. Wagner missing everything up. It's been a long time since Wagner pitched. He was scratched from his last scheduled start due to a hamstring injury. So he's appearing for the first time since the 22nd of July. (2-0 to Roberson. And there's a strike. A long way to go. The Cubs a very big chance right here, though, to cut that lead down. The Pirates in front 8-3, 2 out. And a 2-1 pitch to Roberson. And he pops it up and out of play to go to 2-2. 4 of 5 home runs this season hit by Roberson have come as a left-handed batter.
The two men warming up in the bullpen. Brian Schaus made his major league debut Saturday. He just was recalled from Buffalo. And Blas Minor, who leads the team in appearances with 46, is the right-hander loosening up.
Crowd looking for the hit from Roberson with the bases jammed and 2 out. 2-2 delivery and a floater. Shallow center. It'll drop for a hit. May scores. Throw home. Buechele in there safely. And Roberson 3 for 3. 3 batted in. And the lead is down to 3.
RBIs 13 and 14 for Kevin Roberson. So he breaks his bat, dumps it into center field. And the Cubs clawing their way back into this one. They have not hit the ball hard this inning, but they haven't had to, as they found good spots for it. Runners at the corners, still 2 out. And we're going to see Jennings coming on.
Jennings will bat for Chuck McElroy. And Jim Leyland has not left the dugout yet. They might stay with Wagner, and apparently they are.
Well, Jimmy Leyland knows 19.5 games in back. You're not going to win it this year. And he's got some young pitchers on this team. He's trying to build a little character, trying to let them fight through some of their own difficulties. Wagner has not exactly been pounded this inning, has broken 4 bats in 1 inning. But the Cubs back in this ball game against a very weak pitching staff.
3 runs in, runners on the corner, still 2 men out. And an 8-5 Pittsburgh lead with Sosa at third and Roberson on at first. Jennings, the 8th man to bat here in the Cub 5th inning. Jennings down a strike. 17 men have come to the plate in the 5th. Pirates with 9, the Cubs now with 8, and a total of 6 runs. The 0-1 to Jennings from Wagner. And he's down a couple of strikes as he came up empty with a swing again. Three runs on 4 hits. Runners at first and third. The Cubs down 8-5 in the bottom of the 5th inning. It's 0-2 to Jennings. And Wagner delivers. Here's ball 1. For somebody just tuning in, this isn't exactly one of those Wrigley Field kind of days. I mean, the wind very lightly blowing out. There have been 3 home runs, but all by the Pirates. And solo shots. This might be another. To deep right. McClendon at the wall. Game tied. The Cubs 6 runs here in the 5th inning. It is an 8-8 game.
That's a second pinch home run by Doug Jennings. And he goes way back. And Montgomery Ward donates $300 to Cubs Care for the blast off the bat of Doug Jennings. And just like that, the Cubs have tied it up. That's going to be it for Paul Wagner. And we've got a brand new game. The fans going crazy here at Wrigley Field. And Doug Jennings is a very happy young man as the Cubs back in the ball game. And we'll watch it one more time. A sinker. And the only time it sinks is when it goes over the wall. And watch the reaction of Doug Jennings. He knows he's got it all. And he knows it's a tie game.
All right, a break in the action. The Cubs have battled back. It's 8-8.
And this father.
She loves him, she marries him.
Give away this bride and still keep his sanity? Will this man
A wonderful young man, wonderful.
marry this woman
At least my mother's not thinking of coming with us on our honeymoon.
and live to tell about it?
It's a wedding, it's not the land of the living dead.
For the first time on television.
This is a family of lunatics.
Alan Alda, Joe Pesci, Ali Sheedy, Molly Ringwald. You're invited to Betsy's Wedding. Wednesday night at 7 on Channel 9.
Flooding in the Midwest has affected millions and left thousands homeless. Now you can help the victims of this horrible disaster by donating to the Neighbors in Need Fund. 100% of all donations will go to Midwest flood relief. The Robert R. McCormick Tribune Foundation will match all contributions up to $500,000 from its general funds. Please make checks payable to Neighbors in Need Fund and send them to P.O. Box 5120, Chicago, Illinois 60680. It's your chance to help today.
Doug Jennings, a dramatic 3-run home run on a 1-2 pitch with 2 men out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. The Cubs have scored 6 times and tied the game at 8. Boy, what a thrilling moment for Doug Jennings hitting that home run against Paul Wagner. And now on the pitch, it'll be right-hander Blas Minor. Give you his numbers here in a minute. Vizcaíno down the left field line, and it's a foul ball.
Well, Tommy, you don't get a chance to do much as a pinch hitter because you come up with one opportunity to make an impact on the game. And Doug Jennings has hit 2 pinch home runs. He's driven in 7 runs now with 5 hits and 28 at-bats. The smile's still on his face. And you can believe the toughest job in the major leagues is a pinch hitter because just that one opportunity. And he made the most of it this time.
Vizcaíno, the 9th man to bat in the inning. Both teams sending 9 men to the plate here in the 5th. And this one will fall for Vizcaíno. He'll stop at first, so Vizcaíno, the go-ahead run in this 6-run 5th that continues for Sandberg.
Blas Minor comes into the game at 6-4, the ERA 3.91, on for the 48th time. And that leads the staff by a wide margin in appearances. Giving up 6 home runs in 69 innings, walked 19, fanned 60. And there's his career numbers versus the Cubs, and they've handled him pretty well.
Sandberg fly to center to open the 5th. But the Cubs have rallied for 6 runs since then to tie this game at 8 apiece. Sandberg 0 for 3, twice his fly to center and bounced to second base. So Paul Wagner, given an 8-2 lead entering the bottom of the 5th, cannot hold it down. One and one to Sandberg.
And at this point, neither starting pitcher can win or lose this one. So the pitcher of record, if the Cubs do go ahead, is Chuck McElroy. And of course, the game squarely in the hands of Blas Minor.
1 and 1 to Sandberg. The go-ahead run at first with 2 men out, and a bouncing ball foul that goes to 1 and 2. Well, in case you've tuned in late, a 2-0 Pirate lead. Cubs tied it at 2, went to 5-2, then 8-2. A 6-run bottom of the 5th has knotted it up.
Cubs have played some exciting baseball on this homestand, and this game is proving to be the wildest of all of them.
And still 3 more to go. Tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday, and plenty of tickets are left. There goes the runner. Sandberg hammers it foul. Tomorrow, the pitching probables in Game 2 of this 4-game series. Pair of left-handers, Greg Hibbard against Zane Smith. Starting time at 1:20 mañana.
Outfield about as deep as you can get and still stay in the ballpark in left and center.
And with the outfield playing so deep, that certainly has aided the Cubs' cause here in the 5th inning. A number of blue pits that have fallen in front of the Pirate outfields.
I think sometimes, Tommy, when you have a very young outfield, many times they haven't seen hitters, don't really know Wrigley Field very well. And as you see, as we pan around, they are as far back as any outfielders can be.
A 6-run 5th inning. Vizcaino at first with 2 men out. There he goes. And it's dribbled up the third base line. That's a fair ball, and it just rolls foul at the last instant, and Don Slug can argue. He thought he picked that ball up while it was still on the strike.
Ryne Sandberg didn't run. He stayed at home plate. And if Slot or Minor had gotten to this ball a little more quickly, Sandberg would have been out. Now Sandberg stops and the ball is in fair territory. Slot coming out, Minor going over. Very close call, Charlie Relaford, and that is his call. And it just rolled foul.
I don't know about that one.
Well, the Cubs might have gotten a break. And they will definitely take it.
Sandberg another chance. 2 down, a 1-2 count. Let's see if Vizcaino is going again. He is, and a pitch on the way. Line to short. Bobbled by Bell. He'll have to throw, and it's in time to get Sandberg to end the inning. But the Cubs strike for 6 runs on 6 hits. No errors, 1 left. We played 5 wild ones. It's 8-8.